Look at old Mac out there on that motorcycle. Somebody go out there and turn that motor off before he goes out there and hurts himself.
Classic Rock 1069.
What? Okay. I didn't know what Angelique was trying to get my attention. She kept calling me. She let me know Joe was coming onto the road. Well, I've talked a lot about America's heroes, people that have served this country. I've talked about my brother and about the life he sacrificed for our country. Died in 1956. Couldn't get anybody to carry on the battle. He's laying in an unmarked grave in California. But today we're going to get a chance to right some wrong. We're going down here where a young man served in Vietnam, and he was one of millions of people that volunteered for the draft, or that was drafted to serve our great nation. But I've mentioned before about our families being divided. This side of the family didn't like that side of the family. You've heard the stories about the Hatfields and McCoys. That was a true story. Here's a story. This young man we're going to go to visit today, there was two families that didn't care for one another, and what was neglected was the fact that one of their own had given his life serving his country. There was speculations and doubts, and, rumors and tongue wagging and stories, Facebook stories and things that happens with media. You've got all these media outlets where stories can get spread. My buddy up here, that's my buddy Joe. Joe is as loyal as a pit bull. If he's your friend, he is going to be your friend. He loved this guy that's laid up here in the ground. He was fond of him as a family member, and we've talked about this in the past. So today we decided we'd come up and pay Joe's relative a visit. This is the very road that my daddy used to carry 40 pounds of dynamite on his back. He would walk from Blossburg over here to Flat Top. Flat Top was a coal mines, and he was a dynamite man. My daddy was, and he would come over here, and he would come over to Flat Top over to the mines, and he had set the dynamite. He had to make his shots around 5 o'clock in the morning, so when the men arrived, they would have the air cleared out so they wouldn't get a bad headache. My daddy used to walk. We didn't have a car. He would walk. But he'd catch coal trucks and hey, that's just the way the times were. I mean, it ain't putting Daddy down because he was just a poor coal miner. It's in fact that's the way a lot of men that earned their living that fed them little old hungry babies back at home. That's what they had to do. So anyhow, the mines played out, and Daddy had to go to work in a place called Praco, which is on down the road. He had another 10 miles he had to walk, carrying his 40-pound bag of dynamite, all fixed up with blasting caps and things of that nature. You know, ready for the day of Freedom Lane, a day of shooting. Anyhow, one day, my daddy was working his way down to Praco when one of the trucks coming out said there's been a disaster at the Praco mines. The mines, there's been an explosion, and they've been men are trapped in the mines. So Daddy basically turned around. When he got home, his sister was in distraught. She was distraught. She was so upset. Her husband was trapped in Praco mines, and it was on fire. He stayed trapped underground for 4 days. But being a miner, in the pitch black darkness, 3,000 feet down, he was able to work his way to a mining shaft, air shaft, and he was able to evacuate. I think 35 was killed that day, but they was able to evacuate him. But he had a tough time. He had a nervous breakdown. Life was really tough. It's hard to imagine being trapped underground for 4 days, not knowing if he was going to survive or not. But he made it. This is down here. We just went through this is West Jefferson. And over here to the left is where a lot of this portion of Alabama gets its power. There's a big steam plant over there. I believe it's called the Miller Steam Plant. I got good friends, ham radio operators, that literally worked to build that plant over there. We might ride down that road when we get through. We're going down here at the cemetery. My buddy Joe's leading the way. I better catch up with him because I don't know where the cemetery is at. I know the road he's going to turn on. So, hey, if you've got an American hero that is not getting his due respect, you make it right. You go out and try to right a wrong. And there's literally thousands of people that they have given their all and never got the recognition. Joe don't know where he's going. But I do. I don't know where Joe's going, but I know where we're going. Of course, out here in the deepest woods, there's going to be a speed bump. Anyhow, I just don't think there'd be too much respect for an American hero. I've never been here before, but if this is freewheel, Freewheel Road, that's it. And right here is where we're going, Fort Joe. Let me find me a shade tree. See, I've known about this cemetery for a long time, but wasn't exactly, I did not and was not aware that Joe, he had a relative here. So let me get off here. Angelique's back here. Show me your little hand. I know she's back here. She's quiet as a church mouse. You ready to get out? I hear Joe, but I don't. There he is. There he is. But I didn't know where you was going, but I knew where I was going.
This cemetery, that's my buddy Joe. As you realize here, I just took my helmet off, and the microphone is inside the helmet, so not much audio from this point on. So I thought I would add some audio. We have relatives here. West Jefferson goes back a long ways. All the coal miners that lived down in Flat Creek, Flat Top, Preco, Pumpkin Center, West Jefferson, all those were different mines. Chitopee. There's so many mines down here, all the way to Cordova. Cordova's down in Walker County, or up in Walker County. Joe's carrying me around. I did not know. I mean, I knew where the cemetery was, and I did not know where Joe's relative is buried. And so we came around, and Joe started cleaning off the graves there. And those people there, the Swan family, I don't know if that tribe of Swans are related to us, but we have Swans in our genealogy. And it's an old name here in the South. Now, you got to keep in mind we live in Alabama, and it's been 95 degrees for the last 2 months. So this ground is rock solid. So at this point here, he's trying to push this thing down in the ground, and even though he's got gorilla strength, he just can't quite get it done. So I sent Angelique to go get when you own a Harley, you have to have a toolkit. Now, I have a good friend that gave me a nice toolkit to go with my Harley, and he didn't get for this Harley here, but he gave it to me when I had another truck a ways back, and I just put that tool set into this Harley. Here's the young man here. I don't know him, but there were so many. You know, he died many years after he was at Vietnam. But he was wounded in Vietnam, and they a lot of people. You know, there's a lot of people that support our troops, the DAV, Disabled American Veterans, and then others, you just put them in the ground and that's the end of that. So Angelique's bringing me over a screwdriver, and Joe was telling me a little bit of the history of this young man, and it's a really nice cemetery here. Alabama, of course, like most of the southeastern states, I guess all states, we have a lot of cemeteries. It's an old country, you know. We've been around for a while. So Angelique brought a. Oh man, look at, she is glistening. She don't like the word sweat. I always say, "Oh, you're sweating like a pig," and she go, "Oh, that'd be glistening to you, sir." And don't use the word pig, please, unless you're referring to your motorcycle. And that's Miss Piggy. So Joe's digging a hole there. And I let him know that the hole was too deep. I said, Joe, dig another hole. Back up, boy. Back up now. Go back over and do it right now. Hell, you see the flag's touching the ground, boy. So he said, oh, shoot, golly. Yeah, he uses the word golly a lot, like most southern people. Well, by golly. So he sticks it in the ground, and the wind started blowing, and Old Glory's waving over this troop here. God rest his soul. And so, like, hey, our friends in Australia, we don't forget about you, Dave. We know the people of Australia and New Zealand and many countries have come to the aid of America. And we've also aided these other countries as well. We love you. We love our fellow human beings. God bless America.